It is a huge pleasure to welcome you all to this seminar on SMS for EASA Part 145 organizations. We are so honored to have so many colleagues from different parts of the world. And we want to quickly make a start because we have a lot of things to discuss today. So I want to welcome we are having a lot of young generation in between the participants today, which is so nice. We have students and people who just entered the aviation industry, so we are welcome and we are very happy to see young generation being interested in these topics. So we are extremely pleased for this type of participants that we have today. We have also a lot of experienced colleagues, so we would like also to welcome those. But we have also people from several countries. Later on, we will be discussing and asking you to let us know the country you come from. And we have also people from several organizations, including aviation authorities, airlines, approved maintenance organizations, from the military, and so on. Just a couple of words about myself. I have a background in safety management and human factors. I was working for 18 years as a licensed aircraft engineer and supervisor. And in 2005, I established this organization called GRADIS. I'm a member of the European EASA Human Factors Advisory Group and a member of Aircraft Engineers International. And I'm very passionate in training, safety, and human factors, and this is the reason I'm here with you today. Within EASA, we have worked with the rest of our colleagues to develop human factors and SMS requirements. So I will be trying to share some of this knowledge with you today. GRADIS was established in 2005. We are specializing in human factors, safety, and organizational behavior, although we cover a lot of other areas, but this is our main specialization. We have been approved as an EASA approved training organization for a few years now, and we have been collaborating with University of Cyprus and University of Dublin for many years now, and through some research projects, and also we're doing a master's degree. We have been to over 35 countries around the world, and we have the pleasure and the honor to meet a lot of colleagues in different organizations, such as the ones that you see here. These are some of the examples, and we'll be honored to have clients like Rolls-Royce for over 12 years now, or Etihad Airways for over 15 years now, and so on. So we have the pleasure to work with all these companies and a lot more that are not appear here. As an organization, we offer several SMS-related training, including SMS for senior managers. We offer one-day training for all personnel of the organization. A safety leadership training, it's a new training that we developed for a duration of 2 days. Auditing SMS, aviation risk assessment, aviation incident investigation, aviation safety performance measurement, and aviation root cause analysis. These are all some of the courses that we offer, which are directly related to SMS. About this training or this session, We will have, first of all, the breaks. We'll have a 20 minutes break in 1 hour and 20 minutes from the beginning, and it will last for 15 minutes. We will be issuing certificates for full participation, for people who participate fully on this seminar, and it will be issued on request. So if you will receive an email, and when you reply to this email that you require a certificate, you will get your certificate. This, you understand that this is only a part of what we offer as an SMS course. The SMS course, the full course, is usually 4 days duration. Please, if you have any questions, you can submit them in the question and answer function of the Zoom, which you can see in your controls. We will try to answer as many of those questions as possible at the end of this course. So please submit your questions, and at the end we will dedicate some time to answer as many questions as possible. Our training is usually that we offer in the classroom training, but also the online training, is very interactive. With so many participants that we have today, at this moment we have 162 participants, it's very difficult to do a lot of interaction, although we have already applied some way of getting your views, and we will see how we will do this in a few minutes. So your participation is important, and your views are much appreciated and very important for the session today. The presentation plus other material will be sent to you. So you will have all the presentation that is presented today, you will get it, plus some other material around this topic. Our modules for today, we will discuss some of the challenges the SMS has in 145 organizations. We will go through a story. We will address some details of the requirements. We will discuss the gratis SMS model, the benefits of SMS, and finally some safety issues which are particular to a Part 145 organization. We will, using the whole day today, the whole session today, a program called Slido, that it will help us to get your views and have some discussion on some of the key issues. So this is the way to get into the Slido. So I encourage you now to either scan the QR code or type on the web browser, the slido.com, and use the code that is written there in order to get into the page that is dedicated for this event. So I will give you 1 minute to do this, or maybe 30 seconds. I could have taken the opportunity to sing for you, but not only my voice is terrible, but my voice is not very strong these days. So you'll be very disappointed if I do so. So, shall we? Okay, let's move. So this is the first question we have for you, is to enter the name of the country you live now within this software. So if you can please just the name, put the name of the country that you are in now. Okay, I think we have roughly 40 countries. So we have out of the 121 participants that they put their inputs. So thank you everybody for putting your inputs. It's nice to see we have such a variety of countries appearing here. It seems that the Philippines, Saudi Arabia, and Cyprus are the winners of this participation. So I would like to move on. So welcome everybody from all of these countries. It's so nice to have you all. So challenges. So I want to have a discussion as far as challenges. It's always nice to know what are the challenges and how to deal with those at the very beginning of the session. So this is our question to you. And the question is very simple. I would like you to think of some challenges in implementing SMS in a Part 145 organization. So again, you will use the link that you will be provided in a couple of seconds. And I kindly ask you to insert from 1 to 3 challenges, but keep it to maximum of 3 words per challenge. So it will be easier for us to review when we have less words. So let's go to the next page. Yes, so please go to your screen and put your challenges. Culture, the number 1. if I can comment a little bit about the inputs. One that is definitely the number one is culture. It comes into not only the work culture, there is also safety culture, and there is also reporting culture, and there are also a lot of items, a lot of challenges that they deal with people mainly. So if we take training, for example, awareness, possibly manpower, human attitude, executive support, voluntary reporting, all of these, they have to do with culture or human. So this is a very strong message coming from 98, 99 inputs here. And the message is that SMS, although it is a system, it is something that it requires a lot of human input. So without the proper human input, it is impossible to have a good SMS. We'll come back to this, but the message that is coming from you is very clear, that SMS is a human system, and the biggest challenges are to do with human. So thank you very much for your inputs. Let's go to the next item. I would like to ask one of our colleagues that is attending the session today. His name is Sasha. He's a senior quality engineer at N3 Engine Overhaul Germany, to give us his view on this. So Sasha, you can switch on your camera if you want and your microphone, so we can see you if you want and listen to you.
Yeah, hello everyone. I hope first you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
That's the most important thing. Okay, good. And maybe if it's possible, maybe you can see me as well.
Yes,
yeah.
We can see
first
you.
Of all, great, thank you. First of all, welcome to the team. Welcome to the family. Hello, Vangelis. It's nice to see you again. So we have met many years ago, long time ago. It feels like half a century. Anyway, yes, I've learned Vangelis the first time in a session at Rolls-Royce in UK in Derby, and yeah, it was a pleasure to meet him. I learned a lot from him, and of course, when we started, yes, we also had the big challenges to think about culture. So yes, you're right, you're on the right track. The challenges, actually, yes, the culture, the people on board, they are very important for us as well in our facility. We started many years implementing SMS in our facility, and yeah, it's not a one-day job. It's a continuous job. It's not just implementing a system on paper. You have to bring it into the heads of the people. That is important. And it only works when you work every day. That is important, because a company is changing. A company is facing different changes from outside. Maybe, of course, the biggest challenge we had in the last months or years was Corona. That is over now, or at least it looks under controlled ways. But yeah, I think Corona is one example that shows you can try to prepare for everything, but at least there will be something you are not prepared for. And then, of course,
thank you very much, Sasha. You've been great having your input. I want to stay in 2 points that you mentioned. That you also mentioned the importance of people, and you also said that safety or SMS is an everyday thing. So it's something that we we should be contributing on a daily basis. Is that right?
Correct. Correct. So you have to stay in contact with the people. The system is not something, of course, you need to prove to the authorities that you have a system. And therefore you have something on paper written down, but a system that is live, you have to stay in contact with the people. So go to the shop floor, ask them for their concerns, ask them. And of course, you have an internal reporting as well, but you have to be there, that the people acknowledge you and that the people acknowledge the system. Work with them, feel their needs, and make them understandable that the system helps them as well, because it needs to become a proactive system.
Sasha, thank you so much, my friend. Your inputs have been valuable to all of us. Thank you very much for your participation.
You're welcome, Vangelis.
Thank you. So I have a list that I have prepared for you. This is coming from our experience with various organizations. It's not a comprehensive list. It's just a few points that we consider important. One challenge is when SMSs consider the responsibility of the safety management and his team. So in many organizations, they don't actually see so much the responsibility of the rest of their personnel in the organization, especially the managers. And this also goes to the second point, that managers' contribution to SMS is very limited. Again, that's another challenge. When we have, we understand that the managers are very busy and they have many, especially all the levels of managers are very busy and they have a lot in their plates, but they have to be contributed daily, as Sasha said, in a smart and in a short way. So this is our experience. The second one is not, and the third one is not involving everyone. Again, consider relevant to the above. So we need to get involved, everyone. I mean, all the people in the organization need to be involved. Not achieving a true just culture. Just culture is another thing. A just culture is a culture where everybody feels safe to raise their hands, to talk about the safety issue, to make a report. So this is just culture, when the people feel safe, when they make an error, when they're involved in an incident, they can be treated in a fair and just way. Utilizing limited sources of hazard identification. Many times we look at hazards and we expect one or two methods only to address and to realize what the hazards of the organizations are. So we will talk later on about the different methods of identifying hazards. Not prioritizing and poorly perform risk assessment. So many times we do risk assessment, but possibly not for the most risky areas of our organization, risky issues of the organization. And finally, safety objectives and SPIs not reflecting the main safety issues of the organization. We issue some SPIs, but possibly these are not the right SPIs for the organization. Let's go to our next module, which is the story. It's always good to have stories. Maybe they bring some points more clear than other. So we have one organization is called Equal Aviation Maintenance. It is an EASA Part 145 organization. It has 200 personnel. It's not a real organization. It's an organization we utilize for this session. So 200 personnel. SMS implemented 5 years ago, but not effective. Management not convinced about SMS. Safety manager working hard. Personnel not involved in the SMS. So some very close to the typical challenges of an SMS. This organization went through an incident. What is this incident? It was one of the very important clients' aircraft that went through a C-check at their facility. The first flight after the C-check, the THS became hard to control. Aircraft returned back, but it was close to a crash. It was caused by a jammed input mechanism to the THS servo control valves. It was a human error. THS is the trimmable horizontal stabilizer. There was a huge publicity in mass and social media. And when we say publicity, we mean negative publicity. The client and passengers are taking legal actions against our company or this company. So what are these? What has contributed to the accident? So many times it's more important to look at why did this happen. So looking at this, we found out the following: ignoring procedures to meet deadlines, acceptance of bad norms by managers. The system does not identify these norms. Personnel not speaking up about safety matters. Managers do not listen to personnel. Limited hazard reporting because there is a fear to report. No risk assessments of critical operations. Personnel do not appreciate their safety responsibilities. Decisions by non-operational senior managers for resources. Personnel are not safety data driven. This is a concept by ICAO. You can see it in the ICAO manuals. It's called data driven decision making. And finally, safety committees do not address major safety issues. So there is an NP in red fonts next to each item. So what do you think is this NP? Okay, NP, I know that is, I don't know whether you can put it in chat. Any guesses? Not permitted. Okay, any other guess? Non-punitive, no problem, normal practices, non-performance, not perform, nominal post holders. Okay, I like that. So what we mean in this case is the normal practice. So let me just get it. So normal practice, it means that this has been within the organization in several occasions. So if people ignore procedures in this particular case, it's not something that happened only in this case, but it's a normal practice within the organization. So all these things here, the 10 items, they happen frequently in the organization. They are not something that it just appear for this event. And of course, when we do investigations, this is a red area. This is an area that we need to give attention because it's something that happens frequently. So we are a few days after the incident, or maybe a few hours after the incident, and 2 days. And the company hired a safety consultant to review legal implications. The safety consultant, we interview the safety manager. And you will witness the interview. So During this interview, you will be required to complete a quiz, or after the interview, will be required to complete a quiz based on this dialogue. So we prepared a quiz based on this dialogue. So please take care and listen well. We have the honor to have with us today our consultant, Mr. Patrick Morris. He's actually a safety manager working for presidential flights in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. So we are very honored to have him with us today. And he will play the role of the safety consultant and will interview Mr. Sam, the safety manager. So Patrick, can you please switch on your camera as well if you can?
Hello, Vangelis.
Hello there.
Good.
Patrick comes from Ireland. He's a safety professional for many years, having many years of experience. And I have the honor to have him. I have worked with Patrick in the past in different occasions, and I'm glad that he dedicated this time to do this discussion with us. So I'm ready, Mr. Patrick.
Hello, Mr. Sam. How are you?
I'm fine. And you?
I'm good, thank you.
I know that you're it's a difficult time now, but okay. We try to do our best.
Yeah. Well, I know you're very busy, so I'll try to be short and to the point. My objective is to try help you, the management, and the company in general to prevent or minimize legal implications after this incident. Do you understand that?
Of course, and this is the reason the company decided to hire you in order to minimize this possible effect.
So, Mr. Sam, what has your involvement in safety been during the last 12 months in the company?
Well, I took this position 1 year ago, and I have been trying very hard to implement an SMS. It's true that I find a lot of obstacles on the way, but I try my best. But we have established the safety review board. We established safety action groups. We have done a lot of risk assessments, a lot of incident investigations. So we have done a lot of work. We are not there yet, but we have done a lot of work, I believe.
And that's good. And how about the safety committee meetings? Do the managers participate in the safety committee meetings?
Well, they do participate sometimes. Yes, no. Yeah, there are a lot of absentees, I would say. But yes, we have some participation.
And how effective are these meetings? Because I've gone through the minutes of some of the meetings, and I noted that the minutes do not contain any decisions.
It's true. I find it hard to get them involved. I have tried to make a lot of presentations during these meetings and try to get some discussions, but it's a little bit challenging.
Okay. And do you know to what extent the management team get involved in safety issues, especially the operations managers?
Yeah. The simple answer is not much. I have to be honest with you. The management is very dedicated with a lot of other duties. So I haven't been able actually to get them involved to safety matters and to SMS.
Okay, yeah. And from the discussions we had with them today, they do not seem to be doing much about safety. Do you agree with that?
I'm afraid, yes. I'm afraid this is the truth.
Yeah. During recent months, you made several reports and recommendations about safety matters, but there is no record that these recommendations were implemented. Is that right?
Yes, I'm hoping that these will be implemented at some stage, but unfortunately, I haven't seen much out of these recommendations.
Okay. I would also like to ask you about the reporting system. How effective is it? It seems that most of the reports concern reportable events. I could not find many voluntary reports about hazards, for example. Is this correct?
This is also correct. There is a situation where people don't really want to report it. I don't know, but it's something that I have been trying for 1 year. I haven't been successful in changing that.
And why do you think people do not report?
Well, there could be several reasons, but I guess the main reasons is a little bit of fear. I can see that because of some previous events, people still feel fear to report. It seems that they don't trust the system, that they will be treated in a fair way.
Okay. And do frontline personnel contribute to safety, and do they get opportunities to speak up about safety issues?
Not really. Not really. I mean, I haven't seen any meetings, any safety meetings, or maybe not even the normal daily meetings addressing safety. So, no, I'm afraid I cannot see anything like that.
Okay. Today, we identified many safety issues that contributed to the incident. It seems that these issues have been in the company for a long time. Some examples are ignoring procedures to meet deadlines and acceptance of bad norms by managers. Have these been identified as safety issues, and what has been done about them?
You're giving me hard time, sir. It's
I
true
apologize.
It's true that these issues have been identified several times, but there are difficult issues to deal with, and we haven't been able to deal with them effectively yet.
Mr. Sam, I'll be honest with you. Things are not so good.
Really?
Yeah. Well, Mr. Sam, as a safety manager, you seem that you are doing a lot of work in an effort to improve safety, but I cannot say the same for the management team. I will certainly do my best, but it will be very hard to defend the organization under these conditions.
What can I say? What can I say? Thank you very much for your efforts, and we'll be in touch, sir.
Thank you very much, Vangelis.
Thank you, Mr. Padre. So this was the dialogue, and we go to the next item, which is the quiz. So I kindly ask you to log into the next item. There are 7 questions. We will answering these questions one by one. We will see the results, and we go to the next question. So this is question number 1. So please answer them. Answer it. Okay, I think we We receive a lot of inputs. It seems that the majority of you believe that it will, if the organization had properly implemented SMS, would have high probability to be prevented. So this incident, and some of you believe that this would definitely be prevented. Yes, I found it very hard to say that it would definitely be prevented, although it is a matter of opinion. But definitely the number one, which would have high probability to be prevented, is definitely valid. And this is the reason we have an SMS. And having these NPs, normal practices, so a good SMS would possibly, if not prevent, minimize these practices. And minimizing these practices means that we minimize the possibility of having incidents like this. Excellent. Let's go to the next question. Who is accountable for safety in a Part 145? Yeah, the first answer should be all of the below. Okay, we have the majority of you answered all of the below item, all of the below answers, which is the accountable manager, the safety manager, the certifying staff, and the maintenance manager. So I believe that the accountable manager, I understand it has a huge responsibility, but is possibly not the only one who has responsibility. So all of the persons mentioned there, they do have responsibility. So it's not only the accountable manager, the safety manager has responsibility, the certifying personnel, they also are accountable for safety. So if I do something, I cannot just say that, you know, I'm a certifying staff, I don't have any accountability, there is nothing to be blamed. We know that today in accident investigation practices, they accuse in legal areas, not in the official ICAO investigation, but in the legal, in the courts investigations, they unfortunately a lot of the people involved also and their managers are also taken to court. So this is the truth as far as what is happening in terms of accountability. The next question is, who is responsible for this incident? I think this is, again, a very clear answer from the majority that all people are responsible for this incident, or the technician, the managers, and the accountable manager. So There was a question in the chat, and thank you, Thomas, for bringing this, that says, what is the difference between responsibility and accountability? In a very simple manner, and this is how also ICAO SMS manual puts it, is that accountability, and also in the IASA requirements, there is also a mention about this. So it says that accountability is a responsibility that you cannot delegate. So it means that if I am accountable for the safety of my department, if I'm a departmental head, so I can possibly delegate some responsibility in the safety personnel of my department or some other people. I can delegate some of my responsibility to some other people in doing the risk assessment, investigate incidents, and so on. But the accountability of the safety remains on me. So if something happens, and it does, there is also, and it is my responsibility, it is my accountability to deal with that. I cannot get away with some of these accountabilities. Thank you very much. Next question. The contribution of the accountable manager to the success of the SMS of this organization, and we're talking about this particular equal aviation maintenance, is normally I think the answer is very clear here. So we all, most of you consider that the contribution of the accountable manager is very important, and we know that. And the requirements are very clear that the accountable manager has specific responsibilities, and they should contribute in a way that make the SMS effective. So a similar question for the maintenance manager. Again, is very another clear answer that the great majority of the participants believe that the contribution of the maintenance manager to the success of the SMS is very important, and this is right. So the maintenance manager or a line manager still has a lot of contribution to make as far as SMS. The SMS manager or the SMS department or the safety department, they do have responsibilities. Of course they do, but the ownership of safety is in a department is the head of the department and not the safety manager. So if I am heading a department, is my responsibility and is my duty to ensure that the SMS is implemented well and the standards are there, and I make sure that everything works well. And I have to contribute to that. And if I go back to the words of my friend Sasha, on a daily basis. The contribution of other personnel, another simple question, please. So again, the biggest majority of people believe that the personnel have to contribute to the success of SMS, and things like reporting issues, contributing to the reduction of risk. So if I'm working in a station, yes, in a workstation, for example, I'm not in charge of SMS as such, but I have responsibilities to ensure the safety of my station, that everything is performed in a safe manner, or the risks are managed in a safe way. So this is SMS. This is the way we do in a practical way. We manage safety in our own environment, in our own tasks. And the last one, which is it's your opinion now about this organization, and how do you rate the safety culture of this organization? Yeah, I can see from the answers that most of you believe that is bad. Some of you believe that is so and so, and very few believe that is great, and some other believe that is difficult to say. Assessing the safety culture of organization is important and cannot be assessed only through instinct or how do I feel about this organization. We need to implement different ways to assess the safety culture of the organization. We have seen through the dialogue and through some of the investigation that there are a lot of bad elements of safety culture in this organization. And this is obvious. The fact that the people don't report, the fact that the managers are not involved, the fact that the people are not contributing, the fact that the safety manager tries to implement things and there is no response. So all of these are elements of not very healthy safety culture. Thank you for your replies. We'll go to our next issue, which is the part 145 SMS requirements. So I'm sure you have somehow seen the SMS requirements. The intention is not to go through all the requirements. There are many requirements. And it will take a few hours to go through them and explain all the requirements. And it will be a waste of your time to do this because the requirements are there in the law. You can read them. But what we are here is to try to see how we can apply them. So I will try to go through some of the elements, and I have developed a document to help you, 2 documents actually, to help you review them in an easier way, if you have not already done so. We will send you these documents. So let us start by some discussion. So some of them are directly referring to SMS, but some of them indirectly. So we have some requirements that they are not labeled as SMS requirements, but I'm sure when we look at them, they have an SMS, they are related very much to SMS. The next item is that some of them existed before. So there was some of the items were referring to reporting, and these items were before the SMS requirements were introduced in part 145. So some of them existed before, but most of them are new. So I will go through a document that I have recorded all these requirements in the sequence as they appear in the regulation. This is one of the documents that I will share with you, of course, and let me go through them. So, as I said, they follow a sequence as they appear in the requirements. The first one, there are 36 items that I have written here. So, this is a paragraph that they have the reference, and this is the name of the topic. So, the first one concerns about the duties and responsibilities of the safety manager. Then the combined roles of compliance monitoring and safety management. So what is how do these two roles combine together? The next one is monitor, report, and manage non-compliance. This is not a direct SMS requirement. It's a new requirement, but it gives responsibility to the supervisors or the managers to monitor, report, and manage non-compliance. Non-compliance, as you know, is one of the biggest safety issues that we have, not only in aviation maintenance, but it seems that in aviation maintenance is something we need to work on. The safety training, facilitating feedback during safety training. So it's not only performing training, but it's also facilitating feedback from the people, from the training participants. So training is, as it has been in the requirements, is a two-way process, where not only we pass some information to the participants, but we also try to receive information. Syllabus of the initial safety training, competencies of the safety manager, scope of the safety training, fatigue in maintenance planning, again, not directly related to SMS. This item has been there in the requirement for some time, but it has been amended, and it talks about fatigue. Another very critical issue for aviation maintenance, a reporting system, human factors principles in the design of procedures, again, not directly related to SMS. Then we have SMS procedures and root cause analysis when we have findings, when we do audit findings, and we have the requirement of doing a root cause analysis. Now we have a series of items that they are under the management system. You can see the GM 145A200. So these are more or less in 1 or 2 pages of the requirements, but I put them into separate issues because I believe we need to see them as separate issues. So the first one talks about the SMS philosophy, the connection to ICAO Annex 19. The Annex 19 is the ICAO SMS requirements, the integration with other systems. So we need to ensure that SMS, not to ensure, but it is advisable to integrate SMS with other systems like the compliance monitoring or the quality system or the environmental system or the health and safety system. The next one is the risk-based decision-making. You remember we said before the DDDM, data-driven decision-making, very similar. IASA mentions the risk-based decision-making. Talks about the basic elements of SMS, the relationship between SMS and compliance monitoring, the human factors, a big element of the SMS, And we know how important are human factors. It's something that has been in the requirements for a long time. So we are all aware of this. The senior management role in SMS, the safety culture, and the benefits of SMS. So safety culture is mentioned in the requirements. Is not something that is only, is not something that we just hope for the best. We just do something and hope for the best. Safety culture is something we need to monitor, we need to evaluate, we need to try to improve. And the benefits of SMS, and this is the reason we have, you can see we have a special chapter or module in this session today. The SRB is the Safety Review Board, the high-level committee of an organization when it comes to safety. The Safety Action Group or Safety Action Groups. So in one organization, we can have a Safety Action Group, which is, as it says in the name, it is an action group where we have personnel that they are there not only to make decisions, but to take actions. So we expect in this Safety Action Group to perform things like risk assessment, like reviewing some of the incident investigations, and so on. So Safety Action Group, and we expect to have in this group not only managers, but also personnel from the front line. It is very important to include frontline personnel in these safety action groups. And I say group because we can have only one group, depending on the size of the organization, we can have more. So we can have different, if we have a big organization, we can have one safety action group in each department or in each geographical station. Yeah? So we can have different safety action groups. Then the safety objectives and safety policy, we will talk about those. The just culture, the hazard identification, risk management, internal investigation. This is all under A200. Safety performance monitoring and measurement, the management of change, the continuous improvement, the emergency response plan, the interfaces with other organizations. That's a critical item that is very clear in the ICAO requirements that we need to have good interfaces. Actually, the EASA requirement talks about not only about other organizations, but also internal interfaces, interface between the different departments. These are also critical to ensure that we minimize the risk. The safety communication, safety promotion, the documentation, and finally, the internal safety reporting. So these are the requirements. You will have this list here sent to you. So please use it. And if you have any comments, I'll be happy to answer your comments at the end of this session. We're supposed to go to the next module, but I think instead of going to the next module, I think it's good to take a break now, because I don't want to interrupt the module in the middle. So is 0507 is the clock here. I know that in other countries it may not be 07, but or 37 or some other. So 07 past the hour, and we will be back in 15, maybe 15. Maybe 17 minutes, so it makes it 25. So 25 past. Okay, so I'll leave you for a few minutes to have a coffee or water, whatever, and we'll see you back in approximately 17 minutes. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I have just been informed that there was an earthquake in the area. I've been concentrated on in the seminar. I didn't feel it, but where we are, there was a good shaking, so felt by most people here. So I hope everybody is okay and not having any troubles. So we'll make a start with the next module number 4, which is the Gratis SMS model. Why did we decided to develop this model? We have been working with various organizations for over 18 years now in the area of SMS, and having been with many challenges, we found that it's important to put all of these elements together and have something that as a reference point of and as a checklist of all the different items that we need to address when we implement an SMS, when we monitor an SMS, when we train an SMS. So we thought that it's important to develop this tool. So this is a tool. We don't claim that this is the best tool in the industry. We don't claim that this is the best model, but we believe out of our experience that it contains most of the items that an SMS is required. We will be happy to listen to any comments, but this is a model that we have for the last few years and we have been using as an organization. We will send it to you, so you will get it in electronic format and you are welcome to use it within your organization or in other instances as you wish. So I'm going to introduce the model. So the first part of the model, the thing in the middle, it consists of 4 items. These are 4 items that we consider very important when it comes to SMS. So the first one is hazard identification. So the first thing we do when we have an SMS, we identify hazards, then we control the risk. So we manage the risk, and then managing the risk means we implement different controls in order to minimize the risk. It could be a procedure, it could be training, could be new equipment, all of these controls that we put in place to reduce the possibility of having the bad consequences, so to reduce the risk. So, and then when we implement all these controls, we need somehow to verify, to ensure that these controls are actually achieving what they have been, what they meant to reduce. And this is called the safety assurance process or processes, yes? So this is a list of processes that they assure that these risk controls are actually managing what they're supposed to do to reduce the risk. Still, we haven't finished. There is one more core element of the SMS, and this is the safety review. The safety review is a process mainly performed by the management of the organization, and that's the term of safety review board. And this is a process where we verify, we see the system from a helicopter view, and we identify what are the different major issues with our system, how we can improve the system. And this is possibly done in a yearly basis or in possibly more frequent basis, but it's something that we perform in order to ensure that the system is actually working well, because we may have elements in the safety assurance that says, you know, we still have these elements, so we need to do something about it. So we go back to hazard identification, risk control, safety assurance, and so on. So these are what we consider the core elements of the SMS. Okay? So when we implement the SMS sometimes, we tend to do many things and we do not concentrate on these areas. Or when we evaluate or when we audit an SMS, again, we may spend a lot of time looking at details and procedures and meetings and so on, but we don't go into verifying whether have all the hazards been identified in this organization? Have the controls been, have the risk, all the risk been controlled and managed? Can we verify this through the safety assurance? And do we have a safety review process that oversights the whole SMS? So this is a basic cycle of the SMS. Now, we need to have other supporting processes, of course. Yeah, and this is the reason we have these 5 elements. One is called the fundamental process. The second one is called the people, the safety hazard risk management, the safety assurance, and the safety promotion. You can see that the last 3, the safety hazard and risk management, safety assurance, and safety promotion, are elements that also contained in the ICAO SMS framework. The ICAO SMS framework has 4 of these components, and each component, the total of the elements that are under these components, there are 12. And the first component is safety policy. So in this model, we decided to possibly have 2 elements. One, we call it fundamental process, and the other is people. I will go very quickly through this, and then we do an exercise. Okay, so what is under the fundamental process? We have policies, strategy, and objectives. And this is very fundamental, as we know. We need to have a policy, we need to have objectives. Strategy is something that is not an actual requirement, but we believe is very important. Yes, we will discuss this strategy tomorrow in our the other session that we have for tomorrow. The procedures, of course, is important. The resources, the information and data, the regulation requirements, and the interfaces. Remember, we saw the interfaces before when we're talking about the YASA requirements. Then we have people. In the people, I think we all agree, and you have said, this is possibly the most challenging area when it comes to SMS, and includes things like leadership, management and management commitment, roles and responsibilities, safety committees, safety culture, and human factors. I'm sorry. So it is important when it comes to safety culture and human factors to address them in a systematic way. We cannot just throw them there as a safety objective or something and leave it there. We need to do something about it. You know, even if we put it in the manual that, you know, we believe in safety culture, okay, we believe in safety, but what do we do about this? And how do we know if it's working? How do we know if the level of safety culture of our organization is good enough? Then we go to hazard identification and risk management, the reporting of events and the investigation, the management of change, and the emergency response. So these are different ways to manage hazards of the organization. So somebody may say that, you know, when it comes to reporting, it may be an events in management. It may not be only a safety hazard and risk management. It can also be a safety assurance process. It is, and this is right. So many of these items can have also relation to other elements here. So, but somehow we had to put it somewhere. That's why we decided to put it there, because it is also a hazard identification method, and it's also a risk management method. When we do investigate incidents and when we dealing with reports, we have hazard identification and risk management. And the number 4 is the different process that we utilize for safety assurance. As we said, safety assurance is making sure that our safety risk controls are actually working. And how do we do this? Audits, of course, something that we all know. Normal operations monitor, another very important part of the safety assurance. To monitor normal operations can be different things. In aviation maintenance, it can be the daily inspections or walkarounds that we perform. Or it could be something that is called low-side maintenance, where we monitor operations. We learn a lot of things out of the daily observations, because audits are very important tool, but how often do we perform audits? Once, maximum twice a year. What happens with the rest of the day? So we are, in the normal operations monitoring, we're getting a lot of small information that it can be very important for our safety assurance process. Then we have safety performance monitoring, the SPIs, SPOs, reports and analysis, safety review, and surveys, safety culture surveys, for example. These are very important way of getting to know the opinions of people, which of course they count. And then finally, the number 5, which is training, communication, involving stakeholders, external collaboration. So all of these are different ways of promoting safety, the number 5. So this is the gratis model. I think that is important to get to know it through the next exercise. But before we go to the next exercise, I want to introduce you to another document that I will be sending to you. And this document is a document that presents the Part 145 SMS requirements in this model. So we have collected all the, remember, around 30 references in the requirements, and we have put them and we have categorized them into these 5 areas. This is, we found this very useful, because instead of having to deal with 36 so many requirements, we have them in categories. Is easier to manage and easier to control. So I'm not going to go through them, so please feel free to use this handout and use it as you wish within your manuals or training or whatever. So this is the exercise. What is the exercise? You remember we have the equal aviation maintenance with all the different issues that this company had. These issues, they indicated through the initial investigation, but also through the interview we had with the safety consultant. So what is the exercise? The exercise is that you will get a list of the items of the gratis model, and we'd like to have your opinions. What are the 10 items this equal aviation should take as a priority in order to manage their SMS? And You know, when we come to SMS, it's a constant effort of prioritization. We cannot address all issues at the same time. So we need to prioritize. So I would like to have your opinion. What will be the 10 priority items for this equal aviation maintenance? So there you are. You have the list in front of you, and you are requested to select out of this list 10 items. The floor is yours. Okay, thank you very much for your inputs. Very, very interesting. The number one item is with 83% of you have voted for safety culture. The second one in risk management, hazard identification, leadership and management commitment, then training, policy, strategy and objectives, reporting and events management, investigation, communication, roles and responsibilities, and so on. So we have a top 10, I think, situation here, and it's very, I think I mostly agree with all the answers. I believe they are very connected to the story. So definitely when it comes to safety culture is their biggest issue, according to the information we have. Risk management is again very important, the hazard identification, leadership. So I agree that the top four, which are very distinct here, are definitely, and I agree that they are the most important issues. I can't see any of the issues that there was not in the top 10 at least. So thank you very much for your inputs. We try to make this available to you, and also to make the recording of this available to you. So our effort is to make this available for you to see or to watch in the future, or for people who have not been able to attend to watch it. So let's go to the next item. The next module is the benefits of SMS. You remember in EASA requirements, in ORG 200, there was an item called the benefits of SMS. So even in the requirements, there is a paragraph talking about the benefits of SMS. So I would like to make a start by asking your opinion on that. So I would like you to write down 3 benefits of SMS, up to 3 benefits of SMS. So it can be only one, up to 3 words per benefit. So keep it to up to 3 words and make it up to 3 benefits. Okay? So we go to the next item, and please feel free to enter, and we'll see how it goes. Okay. We have a couple of colleagues still typing. Yes. So great inputs, very nice inputs. I would possibly divide them into two categories. One category concerns safety, of course, and you have safety, risk mitigation, accident avoidance, safe operation, hazard identification, risk control, risk prevention, safety culture, aviation safety, so incident prevention. So there are a lot, and possibly the majority of items that concern directly or indirectly with safety. And then we have another category of items that they are not directly related to safety. And we have cost reduction, communication, teamwork, time and resource saving, time saving, higher quality, reputation, work efficiency, trust. Very, very interesting points. So I like what you have mentioned here, that there are benefits that they go beyond safety. So SMS offers other benefits, side benefits, which are always welcome, of course. So it doesn't mean that SMS can solve all the problems. It's not a panacea that they can solve all the problems, but it can certainly contribute to improving a lot of other issues. So we cannot say that we are solving our financial issues by having an SMS, but it can contribute to this. So very good. Thank you very much for your inputs. This is one of the things that hopefully you will get through the communication that we'll have later on. So I would like to have two colleagues. I'm not sure if Ugne is available, but at least from Eugene. So I would like to have their views as far as to the benefits. Can I firstly ask Eugene, Mr. Eugene Ilau? He's the Quality and Safety and Compliance Lead at Aviation Partnerships, also known as A+, a big maintenance organization in the Philippines, possibly the biggest one when it comes at least to line maintenance. So can I ask Eugene? Eugene, welcome.
Start my video. Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, we can see you as well now.
Good day to you, sir. Yes. What's happening?
We can hear you very well.
Oh, okay. Am I good to go, Sir Vangelis?
Yes, yes, please. Would like to have your views as far as the benefits.
Of course, for me, personal opinion, it is one of the best driver if we want to promote changes in the organization, particularly with our culture, because SMS provides us a structured approach, not only to compliance, but as well with risk assessment and mitigation. And lastly, I think it encouraged us to involve everyone, as discussed earlier. It discussed the importance of each and every personnel in the organization with the implementation of safety. So I think it's really helps an organization to push with their change of culture initiatives or approaches that they want to implement.
Very good. Thank you very much. And did you have any successes in your organization in this direction?
Sorry?
Did you have any successes in this direction?
We're working on it with you, of course.
Excellent. Thank you, Eugene. Thank you very much for your input. All the best to you and your colleagues there. So is Mrs. Ugne, is she available now? No, she's not available. Okay, Ugne is aviation safety manager for Avia Solutions Group in Lithuania, but she said that she may not be available this time. She joined until a few minutes ago, but she had to leave. Thank you anyway, Ugne. So let's go to the next item. So the first thing is, what are these benefits and why we should use them? We gave your list was definitely an excellent list, but maybe there are one or two that I can add to your list. So I think we all understand that it is a way to demonstrate and to implement, to have a documented approach that we can present to the authority, to the clients, to the stakeholders, that the risks are under control. So it's a documented and demonstrable approach for managing risk. The second one is to gain safety recognition for customers and traveling public. So and it is very important to, and why not to, for our clients to recognize, especially when we are a Part 145 organization, it means that we have clients. Either it's our own airline or other airlines. It means that we have clients that we offer services. So these clients, internal or external, they need to know about us. And if they believe that we are a safe organization through a good SMS, this is very important point for them. Yeah? Improved working environment resulting in better productivity and morale. And we know that a good SMS should aim also in building not only safety, but also looking at productivity and morale. Maybe these are not the direct objectives of the SMS, but we have seen, and through our experience, that they act very clearly as indirect benefits. The fourth one is reduction or removal of operational inefficiencies, and we have seen this. SMS being a structured approach and being an approach that involves people, make people involved in the operational process, it means that it has also an impact on the operational efficiency. Minimize direct and indirect costs resulting from accidents and incidents. And that's another one about the insurance rates. So reduction in insurance rates can come after justifying to the insurance brokers that we have reduced our risks. So insurance brokers, of course, they know and they can decide whether they can reduce the rates, but this is usually done if we can justify through our performance of the SMS that the risk has been reduced. The next one is improve reputation. It's something that you also mentioned in your notes, and reputation to the client, but also to the flying public. Potential defense from legal action. As an organization, but also as individuals, we'd like to protect ourselves from legal action. And having a good SMS is a way of achieving this protection. Let's go to the next module. This is the safety issues in the Part 145 organization. Let me get some water first. So I thought that I would include this because I have seen from many organizations, that many maintenance organizations, that struggling in identifying their major safety issues. So many organizations, they do the obvious. So what do? They say the ground incidents or damages to the equipment or health and safety issues. They put health and safety issues in the SMS, which is okay, and it is reasonable to have an integrated system where health and safety and SMS are. It's okay to have an integrated system, but we may be missing our major issues. And this is what happens many times, is you go into an organization and you ask them, what are your major safety issues? And they come up with items that to me are secondary, and they are not the most important items. So I would like to have your opinions. I don't want to give you mine before I hear yours. So I would like to ask you to write down some typical safety issues of a maintenance organization. Please come up with maximum 3 issues, maximum 3 words per issue. This is a poll, please go ahead. Okay, I think this is an extremely rich list. The training is number one, resources is number two, and then complacency and human factors, which appears also in another case. Another case. Also, a lot of the typical dirty dozen, as we all know them, through the human factors training, like lack of communication, lack of knowledge, lack of resources, lack of supervision. But there is also another thing that is coming in different formats. It's called procedures not followed, or non-compliance, or not following procedures. So if we add those, it could also be one of the major things here. Yeah? And of course, human factors as an item can include a lot of these items that they are here. But not following procedures is definitely one major item that is within the items that you have mentioned here. Very great list. Thank you very much. Okay, so we would have had a colleague from Jordan giving us some inputs, but I believe is not here with us today. Saleh, have you here, and can you please make yourself available if you're here in another name or another computer? Are you here? Please put a sign in the Q&A so we can know if you're here. Okay, it's all right, no problem. So these are some typical part of our organization's safety issues. I think all of them have been mentioned. So the first one is deviation from procedures, or another very relative item to this is a pencil whipping. Pencil whipping is when we certify for something we have not done. So this is again a very bad issue and a very important issue when it comes to safety. Another one is a lack of competent personnel. So these days, because of the COVID, because of different other reasons, the industry ended up with a lot of lack of competence staff. So personnel having the right competence to do the job. And having a qualification is one thing. Being competent and being competent requires experience. It requires opportunities to perform a job. So we may be working for one organization with very little opportunities to do specialized work. So I ended up doing only the basic ones. So if I go to another organization, then I may lack in this competence. So fatigue is another issue. And I believe a lot of our colleagues in aviation maintenance are suffering from fatigue, pressure, commercial pressure, management pressure, time pressure. This is definitely one issue, especially these days where we have lack of personnel, where the financial situation forces organization to put pressure on the staff, time pressure, or to put the pressure in order to deliver something in less time or with less standards. a bad leadership approach. So a bad leadership doesn't mean that it is not is dealing directly with safety, but we talk about other things like trust, like listening to staff, like involving personnel, like creating a team environment. All of these are leadership, part of leadership approach, which is also important for SMS. And last is planning. Yes, planning has been an issue or contributing factor in many incidents. And it is not only a matter of having the right planners or the competent people. There are many other reasons where we end up with bad planning. So this is a list of 6 issues. All of the other issues that you mentioned are also valid. And of course, every organization may have different issues. So, or different priorities, which is highly appreciated. So we don't expect that whatever issues one organization has, the other organization should have them as well. But knowing our safety issues is vital if we want to have a good SMS. This is the fundamental step. So we can call it hazard identification or knowing our safety issue. So we need to have a good picture as where our biggest hazards. Anytime we ask anybody in the organization should be able to tell us the biggest safety issues. And these safety issues should not be ignored by the system. So the system should be in a position to capture these issues. Yeah? Otherwise, we are lacking in having an effective system. I'm sorry about this. So we are reaching towards the end of this session. I know we are a little bit ahead of time, but I think it's also good because I'm starting losing my voice. So I would not last for another half an hour, but I will try to answer some of your questions. So you have put a few questions in the question and answer tool of Zoom. So I will try to go through some of the questions and try to answer them. One question is says that my question is that mostly I found that our ramp and apron staff, maintenance staff are not truly following working instructions. Mostly 90% of incidents or accidents are happening because of non-conformance. So how do we safety managers can do to overcome this item? So I think we mentioned this as one of the major issues, and we all understand that this is the situation that in many organizations, many other organizations may not have this issue. First of all, we need to identify the size of the problem. And to do this, we need to create an environment where people can speak to us. We need to be able to have a clear picture, and we cannot have this clear picture if we expect only to do audits to find it. There's no way we can find it. Because if we have an audit, what we do everything according to procedures, and it's very hard for an auditor to identify this. So what happens is that we need to create an environment of trust where people are willingly notifying or discussing with us these non-conformances. So this is the first step. The second step, of course, is to analyze this, identify why do it. So non-conformances is very hard and it's not appropriate to stop there. It's like having a human error. When we have a human error, we need to identify reasons behind the human error. So there could be several reasons. The same way or the same thing should do when it comes to non-compliance. When there is non-compliance, we should ask why. Why people do not comply? Is it because the procedure is not clear? Is it because they don't have the right tools to perform it? Is it because they are under pressure? They don't have the right time to do it? Is it because it's difficult to understand? Is it because they don't have good training? Is it because they're lazy? So there could be different reasons. And we should look into this and identify the reasons why people do not follow these procedures and deal with these reasons. You know, if we are there just to punish people for not following procedures, we're not achieving much. We need to respect our colleagues. We need to create an environment where our colleagues are trusting us and they come to talk to us. I'm not saying we are going to solve fully the issue. There could always be people who do not follow procedures, deviate from procedures for whatever reasons. Yes, there is no way we can eliminate this, but we can minimize this. Yeah. So this is the first question I wanted to answer. How to overcome and how frequently we can run the training to overcome or at least mitigate such errors. Training is an important tool, and it's very important because especially when it's a classroom training and you get people to discuss between them, the effect can be very high. So we can have high impact on our colleagues through a good training. Now the second question is how often we do the training. Of course, we know that we cannot have the resources to do very frequent trainings when it comes to this issue. So there is always limitation to this. So maybe once a year still is not enough. So training by itself is not enough. So we require other means to keep the fire of the training alive. So if we have training, we need to have other things after the training to keep it alive. Yeah. And this is where supervision and leadership comes into place. Yeah? So it's not in training by itself, most of the times is impossible to solve the issues. High turnover of staff. How we can come, he says that it can lead to incidents and accidents. How can we come over with this issue being safety manager or whoever is the personnel? Okay, the turnover. The question is why the people are leaving the organization. So we need to start again with the why. What are the reasons behind? Is it because they're not happy with their salaries? Is it because they're not happy with their conditions they live? Is it because they're not happy with the leadership? There are statistics about this. Most of the times, the leadership is the problem, but it's not always. It's not always, and we need to identify the different reasons why we have high turnovers. And the SMS is not always the solution to that, but it can contribute to this. If a good SMS can improve the conditions that people work, if a good SMS can improve the way the personnel perceive their role in the organization, the way personnel they feel trusted and respected. Yes, it can reduce the high turnover. So SMS can contribute to that, but it's definitely depending on what are the reasons behind the turnover. So we have a question about lack of correct risk assessment of hazards. Yes, the risk assessment is by definition, it is it's a subjective process. So people who perform risk assessment, they have to be well trained. So this is the first step. The second step is we need to involve the right people when we do risk assessment. And of course, we need to have the right process and the right tools in order to perform the risk assessment. So there are many things that they contribute to a good risk assessment. There is one question about good SPIs in small organizations. The SPIs should be according to the needs of the organization. Yes. So if we just throw any SPIs, they may not be appropriate for the organization. So we need to apply some good process of identifying our needs and developing our SPIs according to a specific process. So when it comes to SPIs, it's not what SPIs, it's how do we develop SPIs, which is more important. Okay, I think I will keep the session until here. I think we covered all the items that we wanted to cover. I want to make a small review, some takeaways. What do we take with us after this session? I think we understand that everyone's contribution to SMS is vital. Safety culture is very important part of SMS. Leadership is also very important. People should feel free to speak up. Yes, we should create an environment where people speak up. We need to consider the benefits of SMS. What is the important? The benefits of SMS helps us to keep the energy. So as managers, as safety personnel, we want some energy. We want some reason why I should be working when it comes to SMS. And having a good awareness of the benefits is very important. And finally, we need to constantly look for our biggest safety issues and manage them. And so at any time we ask what are the biggest safety issues, we should have the answers. So this is all I wanted to say for today. I want to mention a couple of things. There will be an email sent to you in a little bit with requesting for you to feedback. We will send you the presentations and some other documents that we have referred to. People who require certificates are requested to ask for them, and people who have full attendance of the training of this session, they will get one. And finally, if you have any input, if you want to share with us something else, we'd be glad to receive it. Any success stories or anything that really is experience for you when it comes to SMS. It would have been a very nice thing to have you all in a room, and then we have the opportunity to meet and discuss. But at least I know that this is impossible, coming for all these countries and all these places, beautiful places. So I want to thank you so much for for the session today. It's been a great pleasure having you on board. Tomorrow we have another seminar is about advanced SMS. So I want to thank you very much, and I hope for the people who have never met to have the opportunity to meet you sometime, and for the rest, nice to see you again, and all the best to you, and keep safe. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye for me.